Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. My now ex cheated on me because she thought I was going to break up with her. So for a little backstory, I, 33 male, had been dating Sarah, 32 female for 6 years and loved every second of it. We were literally soulmates, and so obviously I was going to ask her to marry me. I had seen loads of crazy wedding proposals on YouTube and TikTok, so I knew this was something I wanted to get perfect. Eventually, I decided that I would take her to a really expensive restaurant, and when we got back, I would have a beautiful display with loads of flowers and a sign asking her to marry me. I even had a speech prepared. So when the day came, I was all dressed up in a 400-pound suit, and when I told Sarah we needed to go, she came downstairs in a t-shirt, jumper, and jeans. This upset me quite a bit, but I didn't tell her because last time I commented on her outfit, we had an argument and I just wanted this day to be happy. Once we were in the car and halfway to the restaurant, Sarah told me she felt ill, asked if I would pull over at the pharmacy and get her some paracetamol. Thinking nothing of it, I obliged. However, when I came out of the store, my car was missing and there was an envelope addressed to me where the car was parked. Inside the envelope were pictures of her naked with another man, and a note that said she knew I was going to break up with her, so she decided to cheat on me and leave me before I could do it to her. Can't even write what the note actually read, because there were some words in it that would get this post taken down. I have no clue where she got this idea from. Obviously, when she arrived home and saw the display I had set up in our room, she realized she had made a massive mistake. About 10 minutes after being abandoned, I got a call from her. She started the call by claiming it was a big joke, but when I mentioned the pictures, she became really apologetic, and then followed up by telling me she can't wait to get married. I hung up and called my friend and asked if I could stay the night, which is where I am writing this from. I've got no clue what I should do. Now for the top advice. So she cheated, took picture to cause a lot of pain, then stole your car. Don't take her back. She cheated. Didn't care if she hurt you because she thought you were going to dump her. That's nuts. But be careful she doesn't show up pregnant, and if she does, get a paternity test before anything. I think it's pretty obvious you shouldn't take her back. Right. Her first choice was to cheat on you OP instead of communicating with you. That is a bright sign that she is not a good partner for you, or even a good person, my dude. If you take her back, she is going to cheat you every time she thinks there's major problem in y'all's relationship, or you'll always feel paranoid that she will again, anytime y'all have rough patches. The marriage would not a healthy relationship, but a toxic one. Marriage is work, and she is already demonstrating to you how she deals with problems. I mean, if she really thought you were gonna break up with her, she would know she could have slept with another dude once she was single. But instead of rationally communicating her fears, she wanted to be the first to hurt you in the worst way. That is toxic. Do not, I repeat, do not take her back. I'm just thinking that she just randomly had some dude lined up to bang, and willing to take pics of it. No, that guy has been in the picture if any part of her story is true. It's not that she thought you were going to break up with her wearing your dress clothes during a fancy night out, so she banged a random dude. It's that she thought you had caught her having this affair, so it didn't matter to her to escalate it for maximum carnage. I think it's pretty easy to find someone to cheat with as reasonably attractive person, especially for women. All it takes is a couple hours, if that, on Tinder. That said, your version sounds much more likely. Don't do it. I understand you are upset and want things to go back to normal. You might be trying to spin this and defend her by telling yourself she only did it because she thought you were gonna hurt her by leaving. Get those thoughts out of your head. If she really thought you were gonna leave, this was the worst way to break up with you first. She cared more about getting even and hurting you back than trying to fix the relationship or making the breakup amicable. She is probably trying to tell you that she really does care about you and things can go back to normal. However, her actions have shown she is selfish. She broke your trust. Getting married isn't gonna make her magically trustworthy again. Run far away, dude. Cut her out of your life. And let your support network know what happened. Anyone who tries to break up like this is not stable, and I wouldn't trust them to not spread lies about what happened. Everything about this, yes. You need to leave her. You deserve better. Way freaking better. My heart breaks for you, man. I can only imagine what you're going through, especially to have so much excitement shut down by a low act. Leave and never look back. Let her rot in her own guilt and shame, and move on. You deserve it so freaking much. Next story. My 43 male, partner of 15 years female 38, admitted to having a drink too much at a work party and kissing a coworker, and I ended it and moved out. Now I'm being blamed. In August, she came back from a 3-day workshop in another state, and she was not really herself. I thought she was tired or having a work issue that she'd rather not discuss, so I acted normally and never brought it up. Early September she said we need to talk, then confessed that after the work thing, everyone went to the hotel's bar to celebrate, and that someone kissed her and she kissed him back. She said she had drunk wine, and says it wouldn't have happened without the alcohol. We've been together for about 15 years, neither had the desire to have children, so we have none. I always treated her with respect and trusted her fully, and the few disagreements we had over the years were silly nonsense that we worked out immediately, and never even had one event that amounts to a fight. Still, cheating is and has always been to me a definitive and immediate relationship killer. I knew exactly where I stood, and didn't even think twice before telling her that I appreciate her honesty and the fact that she did not want to continue living a lie, but that it was over, and I'll begin moving out in a few days. I couldn't stay with her in the same place and needed time to take in the shock, so I went and stayed with my mother and let it all dawn on me. It was painful, I felt immense betrayal. I thought about the best years of my life that I wasted with her, and the times I shut down attempts by women or left immediately when I felt someone was becoming flirtatious, and I just felt like an utter fool. Anyway, I got calls from mutual friends and her family, and I remained very respectful to her, but told everyone that I can't recover from something like that, and that it's over and no hard feelings. I then went back while she was out, and took a few pieces of my own clothing and books, and left everything else. Did not want to look petty and take any other items, even the things that I bought, which is basically pretty much everything since I always wanted to be the provider. That was in October, and since then I've been slowly recovering psychologically and getting back to my normal routine, and I think I will be alright. Naturally, I remember things from all the years we've been together and I feel deep dark sadness, but I don't miss her nor want her back, and I can't imagine being with her again now that I visualize her kissing another man. I am thoroughly repulsed. The problem is that people on my side, a couple of my own friends and a few family members, have begun telling me that I was mistaken, and they just couldn't tell me that during the tougher times when my world was crashing down. I hear things like, a single kiss is nothing, it's not like they hooked up or even made out, you can't throw away 15 years for a few seconds of weakness, and the one I get the most is one form or another of it was the wine. As much as I'd like to claim that I'm totally confident, and no words by anyone would make me doubt myself, they succeeded in making me wonder if I'd reacted in the wrong way. It takes time for my change of address to take effect, so she still gets my mails and bills and calls me, and I go to pick them up and act politely but very robotically. She still tells me that she's sorry, and that she'd do anything to get another chance, but the betrayal keeps replaying in my head and it's horrific. I don't want to be with her ever again. Now I'm neither looking for affirmation nor blame. I'm seeking your honest opinions no matter what they are, and I can take it no problems. Don't spare my feelings or anything. Just tell it as it is. Thanks you. Now for the advice. The problem here is that most cheaters trickle the truth out. They say just a kiss, then you find out more the more you dig. You made the right choice because chances are far higher that a whole lot more happened than just a kiss in those 3 days. This is exactly what my father told me when he came for Christmas, and he's been in this life for 82 years and have seen it all. He said in most likelihood that more happened, and she was just testing my reaction with a hint of truth. Your father sounds like a wise person. If I were you, I would be shutting the people down that are pushing you to reconsider. One time, okay, I'll humor you. Do it again, then we won't be seeing each other again. After all, at the end of the day you make your own choices in life. She chose to, at the very least, make out with someone other than her partner. You chose to end things because of that. Live your choice and don't allow anyone to tell you different, friend. You get to decide your boundaries. She broke them. Breakups are deciding that staying with a partner isn't in your best interest. It was right for you to break up because that was what you decided for yourself. They would have done something different. Whoop-de-freaking-do, it's your life and your decision, and the only wrong decision here would be staying with her when you knew you didn't have the capacity to move beyond this. That's just breaking up with more steps. You don't need to worry when she's late from work. You don't have to worry about what happens at a Christmas party. You don't have to check when she was last active on Messenger. You made the choice that was best for you. That's what people should do in your position. This is extremely comforting. Thank you for this. Don't let people guilt you into going against your values. Only you know what you will or will not tolerate, and a kiss is definitely cheating. You are strong for doing what needed to be done despite the heartbreak. That's true strength of character. My husband and I have both said over our almost 15 years together that any form of cheating would be an immediate deal breaker for either of us as well. Like you, I think my feelings would just instantly dry up upon hearing it. The people telling you it was just a kiss. What about the choices that led to the kiss happening? What about her behavior made this coworker think this was okay? Why was her response to kiss him back? If someone came at me trying to kiss me, my reaction would either be to move or slap them, quite honestly. Drinking a bit of wine is not going to make you start randomly kissing people, and if it does, then I am pretty sure that is something about yourself you should be aware of as an adult, and shouldn't put yourself in situations like that. That's the crux of it for me. I would never put myself in a situation where cheating was an outcome. I understand everyone has different boundaries and whatnot, but it sounds like you have been clear with her about yours, and you feel how you feel. Don't let others pressure you into going against your own instincts. Last story. I'm tired of my boyfriend making me feel guilty about my privileges. I, female 26, have been dating my boyfriend, male 28, for around 6 months. We met through a hikers group, and we really hit it off from there. Turns out we have some mutual friends, and so we as a big group would get together and do weekend hikes and camping trips often. Hiking and camping are something that I started around a year ago. I was not an outdoors person, but it's kind of nice to just be out in nature, and I'm glad I have a new hobby. I still think that I'm more of a city girl. I like going out with my girlfriends, and I like trying new restaurants. My boyfriend has been hiking and camping practically since he was a child. It kinda is his one thing that he loves above all else. I then discovered that this is basically all he does. He really doesn't have any other hobby besides just hiking and camping. He's got a job working for a big outdoor retailer. The money is crap, but he enjoys it. I have my own apartment and I have my own routine, while he has roommates that he lives with. He will help me clean around the place when he's here, but I am never over at his place because it's a mess. It bothers me that he's over so often because I want my own space too. But when I brought it up that he shouldn't spend the night every night with me, he was so upset, and I basically have to sit down and explain that I just want my own damn space too. He's also upset at my spending habit. He thinks that I spend too much money on useless things like expensive groceries, my yoga and Pilates membership, my nails, my hair, etc. But I don't see the big deal. It's my money, so I can use it how I want to. Even when we go out to eat, I have never once asked him to pay, because I know that I have expensive taste and he can't afford it. I'm graduating this month, and I will be starting a job at a Big 4 accounting firm. My parents are so proud, and I am proud of myself too. They got me a vacation, and they gave me first-class tickets as my graduation gift. They didn't get my boyfriend a ticket, and when my boyfriend found out, he kept ranting about what a waste of money it was, and how that money could be used to feed people or help less fortunate people. I was upset. It was a gift from my parents, and they can afford it. I know I'm fortunate, but I still shouldn't be made to feel guilty about the nice things I have. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Think this over carefully. Do you want to have to answer to someone about your expenses when you are paying your own? He sounds exhausting, and an exhausting judgy leech at that. He's not worth it. There are definitely red flags for OP to be aware of, that her boyfriend will sabotage her entire future and take over the things she does for herself as his own. He's just an absolute parasite who is less capable of adulthood than OP is. Some partners can be helped, but if he thinks he is here to be the one to help OP, he's just dangerous all around for her self-sufficiency. He resents her for making more money. My awful ex would do this. It is an attempt to make himself feel powerful, and it will not stop. And he never pays for your dinners ever. Gee, you think he would at least once, with all the money he has been saving. Run, girl, run. You two are equally yoked. He wants you to settle for the lifestyle he can afford, rather than working to allow you to maintain your lifestyle if you are together. This is going to continue to be an issue. Y'all don't even live together yet. Can you imagine living with a man who is messy and doesn't clean after himself, but will tell you that hiring a cleaning service is excessive? Yoga and Pilates are not extravagances. And yet, he also seems mad that she refuses to be his meal ticket, no trip present for him from her parents, and he can't stay over every night yet. He wants to be indulged, but also retain the right to be cheap and self-righteous about it. Edit and update. Wow, this post really blew up, so I have a few updates. I do pay for my own expenses in my own apartment. I do have a full-time job on top of school. My parents did pay for my tuitions, however. While my parents are well off, they are never first-class tickets people on the regular well off. This was a huge gift from them for my MBA. I told my boyfriend that if he wanted to find a different path, I would help him find a counselor and looking for enrolling at a community college. I even offered to help him because I do care about him and I want a better future for him. He said, and I quote, "You're gonna work for the man, and you're now trying to change me into one of them." So, he is now my ex-boyfriend. I see now that we are not compatible. Thank you everyone so much for your support. I got a few laughs out of some. Shout out to the guy who warned me about the busy season. It's going to be hell, but at least they gave me a signing bonus. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update: my ex divorced me and wants to be together again after 4 years. Original post: I'm 46 female and my ex-husband is 45. We were college sweethearts and married at 26. Right before we got married, I gave birth to a beautiful daughter who's now 21 years old. I love both of them dearly, and we've been a happy family for about 16 years before everything went down. Our only problem was my ex's mother. She always had a strong dislike for me as she never thought I was good enough for her baby boy. We had many fights, and my ex cut contact with her after the wedding when she tried wearing white to it. We had many encounters with her years after that, sending us gifts for my daughter and purposely trying to get us to contact her again, to seeing her outside our house. Then 4 years ago, I got home from work to see my ex and his mom together on the couch. My ex was on the verge of tears, yelling and calling me a cheater. I tried to explain I didn't, but his mother supposedly had proof, saying she saw me with another man out in a restaurant together. I'm very faithful and loyal, but he refused to hear me out. We got into a big argument before he packed up and left to stay with his mother. When my daughter got home from a friend's house, she too started blaming me when she found out from her dad. She went to live with her dad while he sent out divorce papers. It took about a year before it was finalized. He got custody of her and I was granted visitation rights, but she never wanted to see me. It took a long time to move on. I sought therapy and fell into a huge depression. I knew my ex's mother made it up to tear us apart, but I can't believe he listened to her so carelessly. I don't blame my daughter, but it still hurts. I moved out of the house to allow my ex and my daughter to live there. I ended up moving to a small apartment. It's been 4 years, and I started to finally be happy again. I made new friends, we had so much fun, and I got a promotion at work. I still missed my family, my daughter, but I couldn't do anything about it. Now 2 days ago, my daughter called me. It's been 4 years since I've last seen or heard from her. She said that my ex's mother admitted to lying. She said that my ex got a new girlfriend and his mother was furious, claiming he shouldn't have won after all the trouble she did to get rid of me. They got into a heated fight before he kicked his mom out. I nearly wanted to cry. I thought she would never admit it, and now I'm hearing it from my daughter. She asked to meet up and apologize so many times, and I told her we could meet tomorrow. So yesterday I met her at a restaurant, but she brought along my ex, something she never mentioned, nor have I agreed upon. He was apologizing, saying how much he missed me and that he dumped his girlfriend. He wanted us to be together again. I excused myself and left them there. I got back home to lots of phone calls from my daughter and text messages from her. She wanted us to talk, and she called me in a hole for leaving. I told her I wasn't comfortable and that she needed to understand. I had to mute my phone and put it down for a bit. I haven't responded yet, and I'm not sure what to do. I love her, but I can't talk to her with him there, not yet anyways. It feels so fast. I wanted to do it one-on-one. I'm deeply hurt and crying as I'm typing this. I don't know what to do. Edit. I appreciate the love and support. However, I didn't make it clear about my daughter's custody. Her opinion mattered in court since she was 17 during the divorce. Although the divorce was about me allegedly cheating, my ex and I agreed to keep that apart from the actual divorcing process, split what we needed to split, and let our daughter choose who she wants to be with. She wanted to live with her dad, and I agreed. She was strongly adamant about not seeing me, so I allowed my ex to have full custody, leaving me with visitations. Not only that, I needed to find an apartment. I had to move out of the house. I was living off couch to couch in my relatives' homes. I didn't have space for her, and my ex mentioned it in court. It was the main reason why she was granted to stay with her father. I was under stress, and I was not mentally well, so I signed off my rights. I looked like a mess in court too. There was also a lot more going on during the time. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. First of all, take all the time you need. You don't have to follow their timeline. It's perfectly alright to write back, "Please give me some time and space to work through everything. I'll contact you when I'm ready," and then mute them. You could also contact a therapist or a counselor to have an impartial person to talk to, or friends you know to be clear-headed. You don't have to go through this alone, and you don't have to react immediately. By the way, your daughter is stomping over your boundaries. She didn't tell you that your ex would be there, thus setting you up for an ambush. You might have chosen not to meet her had you known that your ex would be present. She withheld that information and took that choice away. You understandably left because you were overwhelmed, and she is calling you an a-hole and bombarding you with texts. Sorry, that behavior is unacceptable, regardless of her motivation. Both she and her ex seem to think that they can snap their fingers, and they can just start where everyone left off, with you immediately forgetting the past and the hurt you've endured. You should be your first priority, because they won't make you their first priority. So please take care and make sure that you make use of your support network. Please feel hugged, and I wish you all the best. I really appreciate seeing this. You're right. She crossed boundaries and done some pretty stupid decisions. Emotions are running high, and it may take a bit for things to calm down. I'm preparing a text to send to my daughter about going no contact, unless she apologizes and handles it like an adult. I'm willing to hear her side, but not her acting like a jerk or involving anyone besides herself. I also contacted my therapist, and I'll be seeing her on Wednesday. Until then, I probably won't have an update unless something happens within the messages. I'm still really heartbroken, and I'm scared about how she is going to react to my message. I have my friends and my parents who are on my side if anything happens. They don't know where I live anyway, so I know I'm safe and I can take my time. Lol, why are they acting as if they're doing you a favor or forgiving you for something you didn't do? And cool, let's go back together. Are they serious? The daughter calling her mother an a-hole for leaving, while she didn't even contacted her for 4 years or even try to hear her out, baffles me. Like WTF. Wait, your daughter called you an a-hole because you left after she brought your ex-husband with her without letting you know. She is the a-hole, and your ex too. He easily believed his mother lies after cutting contact with her and knowing what she's capable of. They are both bad for not hearing you out, treating you like you are the worst, and now trying to be all-loving family again. They caused you so much pain and probably trauma, but it seems like they don't care. Now for the first update. I'm crying again. I went to text my daughter about boundaries and building trust again, and she said there was someone else involved without my knowledge during the divorce. My ex's mother got into another fight over the phone with him earlier today and admitted to paying an ex-friend, someone she was fond of, to lie directly in my husband's face and say he was the one I cheated on with. He did it for money. My daughter basically gave me the silent treatment during the divorce, so she never told me. Neither did my ex's mom for obvious reasons. Now, why wouldn't my ex mention it? Because he thought I would just deny it, which I would since I didn't do it. I bet he was so confident in himself too. I hate them both. Like mother like son, apparently. I can't believe I loved him. He didn't even try to hear my side. I even tried giving my phone to prove my text messages were innocent, and he went, nope. I got a verbal confession from said ex-friend, but I won't tell you because communication does not exist. I am beyond furious. Who does that? Pay someone to purposely cause a strain in a healthy relationship. Absolutely ridiculous. I hope your daughter directs the anger she had for you at your mother-in-law. Unlikely, that anger has been directed at the mother all these years. Probably dissipated by now. Plus, the way grandmother's mere word was enough, there's an obvious bias in that direction. Take your time, it's okay. I would reach out to friends and family and spend your evening with people so you're not alone. They disappeared for 4 years, your daughter can wait 48 hours or a week for a response from you. I would strongly recommend if you want to arrange a meeting with your daughter, that the next meeting being an invitation to an appointment with a mediator or family therapist, with the condition that if she brings her dad to it, you will go no contact with her. It's a session for her and you only. And in the session, you can try and explain to her how far she crossed the line by ambushing you with her dad, and why this reconciliation will only work if she stays out of your romantic life and accepts her parents are divorced because her dad messed up, and that's how it's going to stay. I'm sorry you're going through this. Definitely with a mediator in a neutral location. So sorry OP, that level of betrayal is utterly heartbreaking. Now for the second update. Hi. Within the past 2 days, a lot of stuff came out, and I'm beat. First of all, thank you for the support and advice. There were so many, but I decided to follow the ones I thought fit best for me and my daughter. In the last post, I mentioned in the comments about an update. 2 days ago, I texted my daughter to set some boundaries after the ambush attack at the restaurant. As we were talking, she mentioned new information about my ex and why he chose his mother's side over me. Earlier that morning, his mother confessed that she had paid an ex-friend of ours to lie directly in my ex-husband's face, claiming to be my affair partner. Mind you, I never had cheated in the first place, but my ex took that as solid evidence and divorced me because of it. His mother is a master manipulator and had him wrapped around her finger throughout his childhood, so I'm not surprised why he'd take her side. He didn't know that the confession was fake until a few days ago. I wasn't even aware of the entire thing for 4 years, no one had brought it up to me. My daughter gave me the silent treatment. My ex's mother obviously wouldn't tell a thing to me and probably told my ex-husband to keep quiet and to only focus on the divorce. I'm still really saddened, but everything makes sense. I was so mad at him for leaving me over her word, but it was much more than that. Besides that, I decided to give my daughter another chance. She will not know where I live or any personal information to indicate where I am. I'm keeping low contact on her. I don't want her spreading it to her father or other people. I'll only show up during important events. Graduation, weddings, etc. I know my ex-husband will also attend. If that's the case, then so be it. I requested my daughter to put her father on the phone. He, of course, apologized so many times and hoped we could have another chance as well. He said he'd do anything to make it up and that he loves me. I said no. I explained that I was keeping him no contact and that I was heartbroken when he didn't communicate to me about the cheating allegations and only assumed that I was practically homeless for a short time and needed to see a therapist to help move on, that I wanted to be left alone and currently not interested in another relationship. Then I gave him a new email in case of emergencies directly involving our daughter. Anything else I will discard. That was the only time I spoke to him in the past 2 days. I've been talking to my daughter, setting boundaries and whatnot. She gave small updates about what was going on with her side. They went no contact with my ex's mother, so that's good. I told her never to contact that woman again. She also apologized about her behavior at the restaurant and that it won't happen again. I understand that emotions were running high and everyone was tensed, so I forgave her. I still really love her. Mistakes can happen. Now, a lot of you said to sue my ex's mother. I spoke to my therapist about it earlier today, and she said it wasn't wise to do so. It'll put more emotional distress on me, and that I might have to see her again and may relapse into a depressive state. I really don't want that. I don't want anything to do with that woman again. All I want to do is focus on myself and on my daughter. I want to rebuild our relationship, and it will be ruined if I do something as drastic as suing my ex's mother. I won't be pressing charges unless something else happens to the point where police are involved. That would be different. Other than that, I'm taking a break. My daughter can text me anytime she wants, but I did say that I may not always reply since I want to remain low contact as of now. Thank you so much for the support and love. I can't express how grateful I am. I'm sorry I haven't replied to any of the comments. There was so much and it was very overwhelming. This may be my last ever post on this account unless something happens in the near future. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Best of luck to you, OP. I currently can't think of a word to describe how obnoxiously terrible what your ex's mom did to you was, followed by what your ex and daughter did to you after that. Just know that I think you are amazingly strong. Your ex-mother-in-law's bad karma is coming back around, and hopefully she'll get what she deserves even without you suing her. I truly hope you continue to improve your mental health and live happily ever after. I originally wasn't going to say anything, but I would now like to mention that my daughter texted me saying she found my original post through TikTok. I have a feeling she won't be turning against me a second time law. She despises her gram now. You should grab a box. Put milk and eggs in it. Leave it outside for a week. Shake it hard, then mail it to his mom for her to open. Add fish and tomatoes too. Those are the 4 worst smelling items that spoil. I am very sorry for all that you have been through. You are handling this extremely well and setting boundaries to protect yourself. I just have to say, I wonder how this ex-friend lives with himself knowing he played such a huge role in ending your marriage. He's an addict. I'm 100% sure he took that opportunity to buy more drugs. It was the reason why we dropped him, since he would beg us for money, along with other junkie friends he had. He wasn't even that nice either, he was kind of rude. I honestly hope he's miserable. Now for the daughter's post. My mom recently made 2 posts about our family under the title, "My ex divorced me and now he wants to be together again after 4 years." I'm their 21-year-old daughter, and I'm going to explain my side of things. There were a lot of things she neglected to say on her part. This is how I interpreted what happened on my side, since y'all are quick to blame. 5 years ago when I was 16, my dad called me. He said he was at his mom's house and that I needed to pack my things so he could pick me up. He told me that my mom had cheated on him and now he was going to divorce her, so I did exactly as I was told. I was really mad at mom for doing such a thing. I thought they were inseparable. I was surprised. I thought they loved each other, and when mom was accused of cheating, I resented her, I yelled at her, I called her really hurtful things that I regret saying, then I left to stay with dad. The entire time I refused to talk to mom during the divorce. I really hated her. I truly did. During the time, I was with dad and my grandma. I met her a couple times and my mom openly hated on her, but I didn't know why. She seemed sweet and supportive, helping my dad get through all this. She bought me presents and let me live under her roof. She was a stereotypical loving grandma. Mom ended up moving out so we can have the place back. In court, I favored my dad's side and it was approved. I refused to contact my mom. It was like she didn't even try to fight to be with me. I was still really angry with her. Dad was crying on some days. He was really stressed and saddened. Mom did too, but I thought it was the guilt of being caught, and now having nowhere to go and being divorced as a consequence. There were a few times where I wanted to call her, shout at her, hate her, but I didn't. For the next 4 years, it was me and Dad and Grandma who occasionally visited. She showered me with gifts, always expressing how she finally got to meet her grandbaby. She spoiled me. Dad was still sad for like 3-ish years before meeting another woman and they started dating. That's when everything turned upside down. Him and Grandma would start getting into fights about the new girlfriend. She would threaten to harm herself and call him a pathetic excuse as a son. She knocked stuff over and constantly broke things when she didn't get what she wanted. She even threatened to hurt me sometimes and steal things away from me. Dad hardly ever brought his girlfriend over because of her. Grandma kept visiting almost daily. She was super obsessed over Dad and the new girl. Now repeat that for 5 months straight until she snapped. Another fight. Then she confessed. I was in the other room when she screamed about how she did everything to get Mom away from him so she could have him all to herself, and now the new girlfriend is stealing him away. That's when I decided to call Mom to tell her what happened. I was scared. The next day we agreed to meet at a restaurant. I told Dad about it afterwards, and he insisted on coming with me. I wasn't sure at first, but he convinced me to let him come. He was desperate and even broke up with his girlfriend over the phone, so I brought him with me. I didn't tell Mom, and when she came and saw us, she was uncomfortable and left after Dad was practically begging on his knees. I ended up calling her an a-hole. I was stressed and overwhelmed, and I blurted out something I didn't mean. I get why she left. There was no excuse for my behavior. I started spam calling her and texting her constantly, trying to get a response from her. Some messages weren't nice as I was not thinking properly. Dad was bawling and started saying some depressing thoughts about how he hated himself and that he wished he was dead. I panicked, like what am I supposed to do? The next morning, Grandma came to the house while Mom was sending me long paragraphs about wanting to have a relationship again, but needing boundaries. The two were arguing downstairs until Grandma admitted to fabricating the affair confession. She paid someone $500 to tell Dad his wife was cheating on her with him. So obviously, I texted Mom about it while Dad kicked Grandma out, screaming that he never wanted to see her again and that it was all her fault. For the next day and a half or so, Mom and I communicated with each other. I apologized to her about my recent behavior. It was super uncalled for, and I do really regret saying those things. At one point, I gave my phone to Dad so the two can talk privately with each other. Mom wants to keep low contact, which I agreed to. Dad was upset that she wouldn't take him back. I learned Mom is seeing a therapist and went to see her earlier today. I haven't seen Grandma after Dad kicked her out. He has been saying she's been trying to call and text him like every hour. Yes, I'm still living with Dad. I'm in community college. It's only half an hour away, so I stay home. I came across Mom's post on TikTok like 3 times. There are some comments about me that I'm really upset about. Do y'all not understand abuse victims? Like WTF. I had to put up with my dad's constant depressing behavior and my grandma's gaslighting, love-bombing tactic. I'm happy to be in contact with my mom. I never contacted her before was because my grandma said negative things about her. I thought Mom was the controlling one. She wasn't. At all. I regret my choices and I'm willing to fix them, and she is willing to give me a chance. You don't know our family. Stop acting like you do.